The game of basketball has evolved greatly over time and through different eras of different players. Point guards used to be strictly for playmaking and ball handling, but now they're expected to be able to score. We've also seen our fair share of dominant centers in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even 2000s who possess strong finishing, rebounding, and post-defensive abilities. But one statement that's been made recently is what I think to be untrue and doesn't really describe the current state of the NBA. Before we start, please like and subscribe. What I'm examining here is actually two statements, but they really go hand in hand. They are that a center can't lead a team to a title, and that the center position is dying out. Let's look in more detail at this. We all know that the 2019 free agency was one of the most exciting and league-changing free agency classes, featuring everyone from Kawhi Leonard to Klay Thompson to Kyrie Irving to Kevin Durant. Bleacher Report put out an article ranking the top 25 free agents from this year. Only about 6 to 8 players in this list were centers, depending on whether you consider Porzingis or Al Horford a power forward. And yes, this isn't a perfect metric, because we only looked at the small sample size of centers that just happened to be free agents that year. But it does show that the value of centers has shifted. Almost all of these centers possesses the ability to have decent shooting, handling, playmaking, agility, and defense, which create the mold for a perfect all-around two-way center. In a 538 article, they mention that Bam Adebayo is the perfect center for the modern NBA. And this might be true, as he checks most of the boxes. Although he definitely does need to work on his shooting from the outside, he's an incredible player in almost every other category. His defense is great, as per Basketball Reference, he ranks in the top 20 of the entire NBA in defensive box plus minus, defensive win shares, defensive rating, along with high rankings in blocks per game and rebounds per game. But in reality, we really have to look past the statistics and look into him as a player. At about 6'9", 255 pounds, with freakish agility and vertical, Bam is a versatile defender who's also able to be a great passer and offensive initiator. But I got a little off topic, so let's go back to the statement we looked at originally. Centers not being able to lead teams to the finals is not fully untrue. The last finals MVP that was classified as a center is Tim Duncan back in 2005, and before that a seemingly endless flow of Shaq. But almost every team had a strong center as at least a second or third option, right? Well, sort of. Last year, the championship Toronto Raptors had a rotation of Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. Don't get me wrong, these players are both great pieces, but neither of them is a dominant force like they used to be. And their opponents, the Warriors, mostly played Andrew Bogut and other barely above-average centers, with DeMarcus Cousins injured. So, it seems to support the statement, but you could also look at it in a different way. None of them had a dominant center that could lead them to a title. So, I think that if one of the teams had a dominant center, they could lead them. But the center on the team needs to be a modern center. And now, this brings us to the next part. To say that the center position is dying out isn't true, but it's the old type of center that is dying out. While players like Andre Drummond or JaVale McGee are hard to come by, players like Kat, Jokic, and Bam are thriving and will continue to become more valuable players once the position they have become rarer. Now, not every modern center needs to be at the same level as the ones I just mentioned. One example that I really like is Daniel Theis. While he might not be able to lead a team to a title single-handedly, I do truly believe that he could be a starter on a championship team. Because like I said before about the Warriors, Theis is a better player than Andrew Bogut. He has a really decent jump shot along with good passing and agility, and could rebound and is an excellent defender. Hoops Habit even described Theis as being able to space the floor, box out for rebounds, and handle the mid-play switches that sometimes results in him having to defend a shooter that typically would be considered an unfavorable matchup. That was shown when he blocked Trae Young's possibly game-winning shot. So, in conclusion, I'm not denying the fact that the role of centers in the modern NBA has shifted. All I'm saying is that the statement that centers can't lead teams to championship or to winning is blatantly untrue. If you came to this point in the video, thank you. Please like and subscribe.